What's up, everybody? Eric here with another EWE Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 10, also known as the series finale. Before we get into that, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know what you thought in the comments down below. But yeah, guys, this is it. This is the Picard series finale, and let's just get some of the information out, and then we'll talk about my thoughts. So the name of the episode is The Last Generation. It came out on April 20th, 2023. The cast includes, and again, we're going to do this in parts, Patrick Stewart, Jerry Ryan, Jonathan Frakes, Ed Spielers, Todd Stashwick, Gates McFadden. And I know a lot of people are saying, like, I still kept Stashwick in there because he still isn't a small part of this episode. Alright, and also we have Michael Dorn, LeVar Burton, Brent Spiner, Ashley Sharp-Chestnut, Marina Sirtis, and Michelle Hurd. And guys, yeah, let's actually talk a little bit more. So the runtime is 62 minutes, and the basic plot of this episode is, this is the end game, guys. In the last episode, the Borg have taken control of the fleet. In this episode, we'll see if Picard and crew can save the day as they usually do. And yeah, that's like the basic plot of this episode. Like, they gotta go in, save everyone, stop the Borg, rescue Jack, you know, normal things. So yeah, that's the basic plot of this episode. In my spoiler thoughts, we'll talk everything detailed. Trust me, there's a lot to talk about today. So my spoiler-free thoughts on this episode. If this is the last time we see the crew of the Next Generation, you know what, guys? I loved it. I loved what they did with them. If this is their last send-off, thank you. Everything they did for like, this was an amazing send-off for me. It wasn't like, oh my god, out of this world, but it was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll go with that. And the action was great in this episode. I thought there was scenes in here where I was just like, are they really doing that? I was like really impressed by what they did. And the scale of this episode, it's huge. This is a huge scale episode. Honestly, felt like movie quality. So I loved it. And the emotion the cast gave. There's parts where I will admit I cried. Just because I was just like, oh, damn. Like, really? Like, oh, you're tugging at my heartstrings, guys. That was amazing. I enjoyed so much of it, guys. And from everyone all over the place, everyone was doing such a great job in this episode that I was just like, yes, yes, yes. I felt it. This felt like a product from it. Everyone felt like they gave their heart into this. So I love this episode. And there's payoffs and things that I didn't think we were going to get payoffs to. Like, characters got the moments that I was just like, please, God, let them get this. And they did, and I was just like, yes, we're doing that. And I was wondering what they were going to do with some stuff. But yeah, there was so many payoffs in this. I'm excited to see what happens. And this episode, like, one of the things, it does a lot of tension. So if you watched Top Gun Maverick, you know they have those moments of tension where, like, you're very convinced, like, Maverick's not coming back. This movie does something very similar to it. This show does something very similar, but it's with multiple characters, so I can't tell you right now in the spoiler-free section who or who doesn't die, so just letting you know that. But yeah, so much emotion. I thought that was, and tension with it, where I'm like, is this where this person's gonna die? And I was just like, I was convinced for some people, I was like, this might be it. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. And then one thing that I thought, you gotta watch after the credits. There's an end credit scene, guys, and it's awesome. And again, the cameos in this episode, if you're a Star Trek fan, I think you're gonna love this. I thought they did a lot of things great. Now, real quick, this isn't a perfect episode, I'll say that. There are some characters that were missing from this finale that I was just like, because they're not there, I also don't know what their contract situation was. I'm not gonna hurt this episode for that, because I don't know what the situation was. Before, I was going to bring it down a peg because of that, but I'm realizing that's pretty unfair because I don't know what the situation was there. So much good in this episode. I can't even think of anything that I thought was, like, necessarily bad besides the characters we didn't see. Maybe some people could have gotten, like, more in the finale, but it was already a long episode, so I was like, I'm fine with that. So let's move on to my score, guys. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. I thought this was a masterpiece. The fact that while I was getting my screenshots and trying to get all that stuff, I teared up a little bit again. I was just like, you know what? Yeah, this is a masterpiece. I can't hold that some characters that I wanted in the episode aren't actually there. That's kind of messed up for me to do. So I definitely recommend you watch it. I definitely recommend you watch the entire season. I'm going to make a season review. I'll put that out next week. but you can already tell it's going to be very high. I can tell you it's going to be a pretty good score for that. So yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. We're going to move into the spoiler section now, guys. So if you're not joining us for that, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you guys want me to review next. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll give you guys your warning now for the spoilers. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright guys, welcome into the spoiler section of this episode, and I'll tell you right now in the spoilers, like if you haven't watched it, the episode only has like 40 minutes of like the story with the Borg, and the last 20 minutes are like an epilogue for us to see where everyone's at afterwards. So, but there's so much in those 40 minutes with the action that, oh, it's crazy. So we actually start off the episode hearing from President Antov Chekhov. Now, Chekhov, for those of you wondering, the name Anton comes from the actor that played Chekhov in the Star Trek rebooted series. Anton, I forget his last name, but it starts with Anton. And he ended up dying after the filming of the third movie. So since he played Chekhov, he's playing the descendant of Chekhov, President Chekhov, who's voiced by the original Chekhov. So that's really cool. But he's giving a warning for no one to go to Earth to save yourselves because the Borg are attacking. The Enterprise does end up finding where the Borg are at, so they end up Enterprise D ends up going to Jupiter. And then you see this massive Borg cube, and it seems like usually the Borg cubes are just like a cube, but this one had like things coming out of it. Look like they're like beacons or something like that in order to give out like a signal. So they have to go in there. We switch back to the Titan for a second, and Seven is able to get back the bridge. She ends up she shoots people, but it's more like a transporter it's a transport shot, so they get sent to the transporter room. So that's how that works. From there, we actually go to like Seven's trying to get up, tells everyone to go to stations, and one guy's just like, "I'm just a cook." And it was really cool when he says that, 'cause I thought of I think it was a Steven Seagal movie or something. I'm like, oh, it seems like they stole it from there. But Seven's like, no, this is battle stations for everyone. All right, so now let's go back to the crew of the Enterprise D, and they know where to find Jack now. They see a signal of where they can get to him. And then you see Picard and Riker's you can already tell with them, it's like everyone's wondering, are they going to come back or not? And then you see the scene where Picard actually tells everyone it's been an honor, and you're just they're already giving this sense of is Picard maybe not going to make it? Is Riker maybe? Because even Riker's talking to his wife, and you can kind of tell there's a chance he's not coming back. And I'm just wondering, are they both coming back? Are they just playing with us, and Worf is the one that's going to end up dying with those three? It was really cool. All right, so they get on the cube. And we actually see that the Borg cube's pretty empty. It's really quiet. Usually these places were very loud with machinery running. I'm wondering if this is related to what Voyager did when they destroyed the cube at the end of their finale. So I think that virus might still be there. It's sad that we didn't see Janeway in this finale, because I think that would have been cool to see. But I think the actress was having negotiation issues with them, so I get that. But yeah, I think that's maybe why the Borg are in the position that they're in. So now the crew's going to end up having to separate. And you see Riker and Worf going their way, and Picard's going another. And this feels like, are we about to have another goodbye right here? And I'm just like, oh no, are they about to have to say goodbye? Is someone gonna die right here? Because it felt like this might be saying goodbye to somebody. And I got very this definitely made me feel, because even Worf's warriors, there's two things a warrior will not do. He will not admit that this is his final battle, he's gonna die in battle, and he will not say farewell. And it's he refuses to say farewell to Picard, and it's just I feel like they're hinting someone's gonna die, and I was oh, it was getting to me. We do end up finding Jack, and he's been completely assimilated. He looks very familiar, he looks all like Locutus looked. And then we get the Borg Queen. She looks all messed up and stuff, so I was oh, okay, she's been having a rough day. So yeah, we see the Borg Queen, and it's kind of creepy. And she's in control. And then Jack has an idea of not Jack. We now go back to Seven on the Titan, and they need a plan in order to help the Enterprise. They know that the Enterprise D is on Jupiter with the Borg cube. And then Seven ends up giving this awesome speech of even saying we are what's last of Starfleet. We are not doing this just for us. I'm not telling you to risk your lives in vain. It's we have to do this for everyone that's below, for our families, for our children, all that. It's oh, Captain Seven, come on, give it to me. All right. And then Picard's now we go back to the Borg cube, and Picard's trying to bargain with the Queen, take me instead of Jack, and she's just like, I don't want you, Locutus, I want Jack. And then it really sucks because Picard can't negotiate with her. She's crazy. Now we get back to the Titan, and it's doing this crazy run where it's going into cloaking, getting out of cloaking, firing, going back into cloaking. It's like, okay, they're doing this crazy run. And then we get into back to the cube, and we have Riker and Worf, and now they're fighting the Borg. There's two of them that are trying to fight them. And then we actually see Worf getting shot, and then he wants Riker to grab his sword, and Riker grabs his sword, and he's like, oh shit, it's heavy. And he can't really pick it up that well. And then, let's see, Riker ends up grabbing, like, there's a gun inside the hilt, and Riker ends up shooting the Borg, stopping them. And then we go back to the Enterprise and Enterprise D with the other crew members, and they're having to fight the Borg on the outside the cube. And then Beverly ends up shooting the torpedoes, phasers, all this other stuff. And then everyone looks at Beverly and they're like, did she just do that? She's like, oh, lots happened in 20 years. And it's really cool. And then Riker and Worf end up sending them where the beacon is at, that's sending out that signal that's messing everybody up. And there's a huge problem. It's in the middle of the ship. And they're like, we don't know how to get in there. And then Data's like, I can do this. He starts to set a course for it. Geordi's like, dude, no, we can't do it. It's impossible. And Data's just like, I have a gut feeling I can do this. Let me do this. And sure enough, they do it. They Enterprise enters the cube. They decide to do the impossible. Deanna just has this weird moment too where she's like, why do I feel like there's enjoyment? And you just they go to Data, and Data's just smiling while he's doing this. It's really cool to see him with his emotions. Let's go back to Earth where the Titan's at. Space dock has fallen. It seems like all hope is lost. The Titan, the other crew members end up getting the Borg ones that were inside the transporter room. They end up escaping. They end up shooting the cloak. So now they're dead in the water. There's nothing really they can do. And then the Enterprise reaches the actual signal inside the Borg cube. Worf and Riker, they were able to be rescued by the Enterprise, but Worf and Riker are like, no, we're not leaving Picard. So they go end up finding Picard. Picard's ends up realizing that what he can do is he can jack into the collective. So he jumps in there and he has a conversation with Jack. And it's really sweet what he says to him. And he says, like, you're the part of me I didn't know was missing. That he's been feeling for a long time that, like, something was missing in his life, and that was Jack. The Enterprise ends up destroying the beacon. They have a little bit of time to get out, but they have time to get out, but they can't get their crew. They can't lock onto them or anything like that. And then Picard even tells Jack, like, I'm not leaving you. And they end up having this sweet moment. They hug, and you can finally see, like, Jack lets it all go. He remembers who he is, and he takes himself out of the connection with the Borg. He ends up disconnecting. He ends up helping Picard disconnect as well. And they refuse to go. And at this point, like, the Borg Queen's just like, you guys are just gonna die or whatever. And sure enough, once this happens, we see Deanna. She's just like, I know where they're at. And she ends up going to find them. It's really crazy because I think the last time she actually drove the Enterprise, I think she crashed it. And the Enterprise ends up to the rescue to save them. We see the Borg Queen then, this is a cool shot. We're actually, before the Borg Queen gets killed, we see the Enterprise show up, and they're on the ground, and you just see it, like, turn, and just, like, we rarely see shots like that. That was great. The Borg Queen is then destroyed. Then we see their cube being destroyed as well, and then the Enterprise comes out of the cube with shields, and that's an awesome scene. I was just like, yes, they're out. So they've won, and then we go back to the fleet, and we see now that the assimilation has been turned off. Sydney is, like, freaking out. She's even like, sorry, Captain, sorry, Seven. She's freaking out, or I think she calls her Commander. And Seven just hugs her, and she's just like, it's okay, it wasn't your fault. But yeah, and then we see the Enterprise crew now that everyone's safe. Jack's back with the family. It's all great. You see on the view screen, they show the Titan crew, and it was really cool. Then we actually see them return to Earth. We see the two ships next to each other, and then we start hearing Riker talk, and he actually talks about the advancements that they've made. Admiral Crusher, because she's back in Starfleet, she created a way to get rid of the Picard's DNA and everybody. And she also found a way to find the changelings. So now they're able to get the changelings out. You see them pick someone out of it. And then they also talk about that like they didn't kill all their kidnapped people, and then we could jump to Tuvok. So Tuvok's back. He's having a conversation with Seven. He lets her know that the crew of the Enterprise, they've been pardoned for stealing the Titan and all that. And then Seven tries to resign. She says like, I don't feel like I fit here. And she really like, she's saying that she doesn't belong in Starfleet. She tries to quit. Oh my god, I'm getting emotional already with the scene. And then we get this moment where he's like, Tuvok tells her, well, we have your last, what's the word I'm looking for? Evaluation from Captain Shaw. And we see Shaw, we see like the only part of Shaw in this episode. That's why I included him in the thing, because he's like, he had one of the best moments. And he talks about Seven, her evaluation, even says like, she's reckless. Sometimes she doesn't follow orders well, stubborn. But he also says, but she's brave. And the rules that she breaks are rules that probably are already broken. And he says like, he can't wait to see the book that she writes because she's doing everything so great. And he praises her so much. And even says that on way back, he's going to recommend her for captain. And after this, like she cries, I'm trying not to cry. And then Tuvok even says, resignation denied, Captain 7 of 9. And I'm just like, oh, 7 of 9's finally a captain. And we'll talk more a little bit about that in a little bit. But let's go to Raffi. And Raffi's family finally knows what she did. Apparently, somebody's put on her son's screen all the stuff that she's ever done, even stuff that's classified, to let them know, like, no, she did so much good. She's a hero. And Worf did that for her. And that was awesome. I was just like, Raffi gets her happy ending as well. Her and Worf hug. It feels like Raffi's taking his spot in whatever this next show that they're gonna do. And we next jump to Data getting counsel from Deanna. And you can tell Deanna's just like, god damn, this guy's a little bit annoying. But it was pretty funny. I actually really enjoyed what they showed there. And then you see Riker, after it finally ended and they were already over, you see Riker show up and like they're already planning what they're gonna do for a vacation. So that was really cool. And then we jump to Geordi, Riker, and Picard on the Enterprise D, and they shut her down for the final time. And to me, this was like just saying, that was it. We did our final mission. This is over for us. Thank you. And we're saying goodbye to that ship, I think, for good. So now we actually go like a year later, or this might have already been a year later. This could have been already past a year. But we actually jump now to, I think this might be the year later. Jump back to the fleet a year later, and Jack's being assigned to his ship. We don't know what the ship is yet, but looks all nervous. But then you find out why he's nervous. He's not nervous for himself. He's nervous because Picard's about to find out the ship that they're in. And this is an awesome moment. He's like, oh, you're being put on the Titan. And he's just like, not exactly. It's no longer called the Titan. It is the Enterprise G. And I was just like, this entire time I was wondering, oh, are we going to get, because we got the Enterprise F earlier, but I think that ship was meant to be decommissioned. So just like, oh, are we going to get whatever the next Enterprise is by the end of the show? And my thought was like going to be, maybe Shaw survives and Seven becomes the captain of the Enterprise G, but that would be weird. But no, it's not that at all. It's that the Titan, because of everything they did, the heroism, that ship is now the Enterprise G. It got a refit. It's the Enterprise G. And it meant this entire season, we were actually on the new Enterprise. So like if that show gets its own thing, it is the Enterprise. They have everything ready. We see the bridge crew, and it's really cool because Jack shows up. We have Commander Raffi, Captain 7, and he's going to be her counseling assistant. So that's really cool. So that was awesome. Enterprise G. And they have this little cool thing where we don't know what Seven's thing is. So we know like there's engage, go, or whatever. I forget what all the captains say. But we don't actually find out what Seven's is. Like they cut before she actually said it. So I'm like, all right, we'll see what that's going to be if that show gets made. And I do think it's going to get made because there's a reason. And I'll talk about it in a second. But we actually go now to 10 forward, and everyone from the Enterprise D is having a drink. And you can kind of tell like this is goodbye. And right before everyone's like about to leave, they end up doing one more thing where Picard gets a deck of cards and they play cards for one last time that we get to see. To me, this was the perfect send-off. That's what that crew was known for, and I'm glad that they got their moment. So I was happy with that. But the show is, even though the credits are going through this, There's one more scene, and it's on the Enterprise G, and out of nowhere now, we see Jack is in his quarters, and we hear Q, and we see Q. And Jack's even like, I thought you were dead. And even says, oh, you mortals think so linearly. So it's like, maybe that's not the Q that we're seeing. Maybe we're seeing a different Q. I mean, that same Q, but a different time period before that. And I was just like, we get Q, we have Jack. I think we're going to get a spin-off with Captain 7. I'm all for that show. And a new Enterprise, like, this is what I want. I really want to see that. So yeah, I hope that happens, guys. But yeah, this is the season finale, series finale, actually. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Like I said, I give this a 10 out of 10. Like, it tugged at my heartstrings. I loved it. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I don't know what's going to be on, what my next review is going to be on. I might be watching Evil Dead Rise today, so watch out for that soon. All right, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.